second stream, analog and analysis. This is Dylan, your center. Ooh.
Yeah.
We have Rocky, your winger. Let's throw it over to him.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our second episode. We are going to be playing in, I believe, Div 8 today, as well as going to be talking about everything that's going on in the NHL. There's been a bunch of signings since the last time we were on, a few new releases from the NHL, a couple injuries, lots to talk about today.
Yeah, let's start with that Kirby Doc injury. That looked a little brutal.
Well, it didn't even look that bad. That's the weirdest part. Like, it was just a simple little pick almost. Just kind of got his hand in the wrong spot, and now it looks like he's going to be out for not just the World Juniors, but going into the NHL season, too.
You know what it reminded me of is when Sidney Crosby, chopped off Mark Mathot's finger. Where it was like a little slash over the glove, and you're like, that's not too bad. And then he pulls off his glove, and his finger is dangling there.
Kirby Doc's gonna come back, and he's only gonna have 4 fingers. His whole index
he
finger is
just
just gonna
bumped
be
into
gone.
the guy, and you're like, oh, that's not that bad. And he takes off his glove, and his wrist is bending the wrong way.
Pretty much, eh?
I don't know how long it's gonna be, but he could miss probably a month of the NHL season. I think at least.
Really? Well, there's nothing.
Hand,
How do you know that though? There's no.
Oh, that thing looked broken.
I guess there's no real way to know until they release it, but there hasn't been anything released yet, so it's all just speculation from here on out.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I speculate at least a month.
I'm not even gonna comment on that because I have no idea. But what we do know is Nikita Kucherov is not going to be playing at all this year.
Do you think this is a thing where Tampa's say it's worse than it is so we can put you on LTIR?
Why would Tampa Bay want their best player to go on LTIR?
I don't know, maybe simplify this week for them. Say I'm saying he'll miss a chunk, but what if he's I could maybe come back for the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks?
Well, you're allowed to.
Don't bother saying that.
No, do you not remember when Chicago, they put Patrick Kane on the LTIR? Remember that? And then when playoffs come, the salary cap's gone, so they can put him back on the roster, be over the salary cap $9.5 million, and then go ahead and win the cup if they want.
Yeah, I forgot that's how they did the third one.
Yeah. So it's
well, for a team in cap hell, it's nice.
I mean, it makes sense though, because being Tampa Bay, the Central Division this year is not very good. So even if, say, this is a ploy, say Kucherov is getting, maybe he's getting hip surgery, so he's going to need the rest. So they're saying take the whole season to get the rest when we make playoffs, because it's inevitable that these guys are going to make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Then he's then just recover for the whole year, come back for the playoffs, and then you're right back in it.
But I think if you're Tampa, you still got to try to move some contracts, because this just progresses your cap troubles next season.
Well, I was looking yesterday, and Tampa Bay is over the cap by $6 million, even after putting him on the LTIR.
Yeah, and so Tyler Johnson's making $5, which gets you started, but who else do you move off of that team? I guess Alex Killorn they want to move?
They have to move. They're going to have to move a couple pieces, because it's going to be interesting to see what they do, especially when they want to bring him back, right?
Because next year, I'm looking at it, their UFAs, they have Blake Coleman, Cedric Paquette, and Barclay Goodrow.
Mm-hmm. Well, they still have to re-sign Anthony Cirelli. That's their number one right now.
Yeah, that's a lot of problems if you're Tampa. But hey, good on Tyler Johnson. He's undrafted, and his estimated career earnings is at $28 million.
Wow. Well, he had that breakout year in 2014, I think? When they had the triplet line?
7-year deal now.
When they had the triplet line.
Mm-hmm.
He just, him, Killorn, and Palat, was it? Just took
I think
right
even
off.
Ryan Callahan was on the early part of that line when he was there.
Yeah. Yeah, Tyler Johnson's made a nice little career for himself, that's for sure.
Who do you think is going to take on that contract?
Oh, I bet you any money it's Detroit.
Detroit has 9.5. You have Ottawa, LA, and New Jersey also in the basement. But everyone's in cap trouble.
Everyone is in
You
cap
basically
trouble.
have about 5 or 6 teams with about 5 mil, and then everyone else with about 3.5 and under. It is tough.
Mm-hmm.
You have a good 9 teams here over the cap.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. It's tough to say who's gonna take on. And what do you think that Detroit might take on Tyler Johnson? That's 6 mil.
Yeah.
Or 5, whatever his cap it is. And then is another team going to take on Killorn then? Or do you think that
The
they
trade
both have
market
to?
is going to be so lopsided. It's teams trying to ditch players, and then teams like Ottawa that can take on players and just reaping the benefits.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
have to get cap compliant in a week, and there's 8 teams that need to dump contracts.
Mm-hmm.
If you're Ottawa, you're in no rush. You're not just taking them. You're basically in a Vegas situation. You get good players, good draft picks, just to take on contracts.
They do have Ottawa has 12 million in cap space.
You know, John Chayka got hired during the wrong era because he did this before it was cool.
He had the right
it
idea.
Did not work out well.
Yeah, he had the right idea. It's just never
too much.
Never been able to. Yeah. So the bottom 3 cap is New Jersey has the most cap. Kings, Senators, Wings, and Blue Jackets. So you know what? Actually, how much does Columbus has? Columbus has 9.2. Columbus could easily take on. But they have to re-sign
Pierre-Luc Dubois.
Yes, that is.
So he's going to command most of that.
Yep. Yeah, you're right. So yeah, there's a lot of different options. Nashville has 7. Do they have any? They have Luke Kunin to re-sign this year, so they might even be able to take on a year of someone's contract.
Yeah. And I think they need that. I think they need centers. After Turris didn't work out, I don't mind Tyler Johnson hopping in.
Yeah, like their top 2 centers are Johansson and Duchesne. Well, they just re-signed Granlund as their 3rd center, though.
That's true.
So he can play center or the wing. So if they bring in, and they have Brad Richardson to play the bottom 6 center. They signed him this year. They have Yakov Trenin, who I've always been a fan of. He could play center. So there's just so many different options and ways that this can go. No wonder no one's in a rush to take on some contracts, that's for sure.
It's a great move to go out and get the guy that knocked you out of the playoffs. Signing Brad Richardson. You don't see that too often.
That's true.
Well, since we're talking about signings, let's talk about the other signings that have gone on this week.
That's true. Well, we got...
So you got Granlund in Nashville, but you also got Erik Haula at 1.7.
Oh, yeah, we didn't even talk about him signing there.
Another center.
Yeah.
But I bet you he'll play the wing there.
Erik Haula is low-key, underrated. He had a great year last year until he got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
He's a very good player. He's proven it time and time again. In Vegas, he was good. In Carolina, he was good. In Minnesota, before it all happened, he was good. He wasn't great, but he was young. So,
Given the right
opportunity.
An Elite 3 here with no logo on his jersey.
Awesome.
You also got Ryan Miller.
Yeah,
he's re-upping in Anaheim, which is sick because he got a nice setup for last season that I never got to use.
Yeah.
In Ducks colors, so at least now we can use them.
He wanted to stay on the coast there. You have an easy pass over.
Oh. Yeah, he's a beach kind of guy.
Oh yeah, 100% he is. He does. Ooh. He does not want to leave that coast. He's been there for too long. He's made too much money to be playing in Columbus. Oh, I didn't even... Dang.
That was my guy that you tripped.
Yeah, I didn't even mean to go near him.
I like Casey Middlestat re-upping. I think at a very good deal.
Very good dollar amount.
$874. He looked incredible in that... he's right-handed. I should have paid attention how he did that.
Exact same thing you've been doing.
Yeah, the little movement to the right.
Yeah, Casey Middlestat, he came out of World Juniors so hot. He was
Yeah, he
drafted
looked
so
so good in that
high.
World Juniors years ago.
He was drafted so high, and he's just never made the impact that they wanted him to make, right?
Yeah.
So signing
But
for
I think
1
at
year,
22, keeping him in your organization is a good move.
and it's a two-way contract. So say it really doesn't work out halfway through the year, sign him down. Let him go
Yeah.
dominate the A, and
Get that confidence up.
bring him back. And speaking of that, what do you think is going to happen with Jesse Puljujarvi?
I see him like the league that he's playing in is adults. You know, it's a professional league. I think he built up his confidence against good competition. I think he'll have a much better comeback to the NHL.
Yeah,
It hurts me to say it because I would love for him to tank again, but I don't think he will. I think he was a good player when he was drafted, and it's just bad
do you think that
circumstances.
do you think that he wants to play in Edmonton, or do you think he wants to build up his brand to get traded from Edmonton? Because he said last year that he would never play for Edmonton.
Yeah, but if he has a good year there, I don't see him being upset with it.
Depends on how
If
he
he has a
plays, because he
bad
just
year,
wants to play. He just wants to play. Yep.
give
He
me
just
those.
he just wants to play power play in top 6 minutes. That's all he wants.
Yeah.
He doesn't care. He
So
doesn't
that's the
think
thing.
he has
If he
to earn
breaks
it.
out and he gets that, then yeah, he'll stay.
Yeah.
And I think he's good enough to get those things.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see right off the bat, because who knows what's gonna happen. Anything could happen.
Yeah. Former Sabre, former Flame Michael Frolik goes to Montreal.
Yeah.
1.7.
One of
That's
one
a
of
good
only
deal.
one of only I think two or three players in the NHL to wear number 67.
Yeah, more of a training camp number, but hey, if it works for you.
Yeah. Well, you know why a lot of people don't wear that number, hey? Well, I don't know. I'm a fan of 67. I think it looks good. But it's because people who are superstitious about like wearing number 13 and stuff like that, 6 plus 7 equals 13. So a lot of people won't wear it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I
The
did
only
not know
reason I
that.
know that is because my dad's favorite number is 67, because that's the year he was born, and that's what he said. No one wears it because of that. Oh, good thing that it's slowed down there. Ooh.
Yeah, he was a second line forward in Calgary.
Frolik? I
Yeah,
think
he never really regressed.
actually I really liked Frolik in Buffalo. I thought that he was a low key, like a nice depth player for them. Provided some goal scoring. Provided some good.
Yeah, I think he's a very serviceable player, and Montreal is making
especially
some
at
smart
that
moves.
number. Especially at that number. That's a
Yeah,
good number
but
comparing to
it's not a
what
Josh Anderson number. For
I was just
sure.
gonna say. Comparatively to what the Canadians have been signing people for this year, getting
Yeah.
Frolik at what was it, 750K? That's a great number.
I'm really surprised by Tampa, even though they're in cap trouble. They just keep re-signing their depth guys. They brought back
I don't-
Volkov and Joseph.
And they've brought back
They-
Cernak and Ruda.
Yeah, they keep just dishing out dough when they really shouldn't.
They really don't have it. I don't understand how
Yeah.
the league's accepting these.
Like, do you really need Volkov if you're Tampa?
Yeah,
I you could have let that one slide.
nice pick. Yeah, no, I agree with that. Well, you just want to get your young guys signed in, put them in the minors. It's two-way contracts, so it's not the worst thing in the world, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like
Mackenzie
Volkov and
Blackwood finally goes
actually,
back to Jersey.
Volkov and Joseph both signed one-ways.
See, there you go.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I guess with such
Actually
a
plan on
top
keeping him in the minors all year.
heavy lineup as Tampa Bay is, they need those depth guys to be cheap, and they need them to play. They need to fill out their bottom six, right?
Yeah.
So
I guess at 730, 750, they're both pretty cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Which signing out of these UFAs is your favorite?
Iarkala. Well, obviously the Casey Middlestat, I guess I could say, but Buffalo has him RFA. Like, he has a lot to prove still, so there's not much there. But of guys who have proven themselves for what they're getting, Iarkala for sure.
I like seeing Washington going out and signing Connor Sheary.
That's true.
I thought, he had one year where he's a little.
And what's with the cap? That number is gorgeous. 735K for a guy who could play in your top 6.
Mm-hmm. It's
maybe play some second PP or something.
I think he'll get you like 25 points next year, which is 735K.
Yeah,
great deal.
Yeah, nice pass.
I don't know how that got through.
No, neither do I. Who cares? Went in the back of the net. These guys, you're saying that one of them's an Elite 1? Or elite level, sorry?
He's an Elite 3.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what the other guy was. I think he's gold something.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're only as strong as your weakest link. They're big guys, too, so we can just burn them. Oh, I missed it.
Yeah, I always mean to check people's loadouts, and then I don't. I should probably win a face-off. That would help.
Yeah, well, I went in for a tie. I thought he was going to go one way, and it doesn't matter. I played it bad on my part, so.
See, there's the Elite 3.
Yeah.
At least now we know who's who. 30, a goalie number. That's tough.
Yeah, 30. Interesting. Yeah, it is a goalie number, eh? See, this is how I should have played the last face-off, but I didn't. Yeah, give me those. Trip me. Anyways, what do you think about the new COVID protocols that got released in the league? Like,
I really like the close contacts. If you test positive, you don't have to quarantine.
If you test negative, you mean?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's positive that you tested negative.
Oh, get out of here. Man. I was right there.
Like, I mean, that was the problem that kind of the NFL ran into, where positional players hang out with each other. Like, in Denver, a quarterback gets COVID, so the entire quarterback room is close contact. Mm-hmm. So, I think, like, picture, like, in Calgary, you have Markstrom, Riddick, Domingue on the ice. Those are your 3 goalies. One of them tests positive. You can't have no goalies.
Yeah, just like you said in Denver, all of them were considered close contacts, so they didn't even play. They had to play the Kendall. I don't even remember his name. Some wide receiver off their practice squad, just for them to get a quarterback going, even though he's obviously not a quarterback.
It's huge that you can.
Oh, get out of here!
You can get the other 2 goalies tested and back in as quickly as you can.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it just makes it a little bit more forgiving, right? Like, you got a little bit more leeway. Oh, there we go.
I'm sure the guys won't like the whole missing out on team dinners and stuff, but
yeah, well,
it's kind of the rest of the world right now. So
he had no energy, so he let him catch up.
The way I look at it is, I better not hear no complaining. Oh, how do you get that through?
No complaining about just the protocols,
like,
or what?
If these players can't go eat dinner.
Oh yeah, I know,
It's like, I can't go eat dinner either, man.
Well, did you hear Kirby Doc in his latest interview about how the World Juniors is being held? Like, they all have to sit. They all have to sit in their own rooms. They're not allowed to contact with each other. Yes, they're not allowed contact with each other. They're not allowed to even play cards. Like, they literally have to play online poker, he was saying, or online video games, because they can't even sit. They're on the bench together, 3 feet apart from each other, breathing on each other, sweating on each other, but they're not allowed to play cards with each other. Eventually, they said it's going to all open back up a little bit. Obviously, it's going to have to.
I think the problem is Team Germany.
They had 8 positives. They had 8
tests. And so opening night, they said they still have a pretty diminished roster, and they have to play Canada, so that's...
But COVID, like, apparently the COVID tests are like 30% of them are false positives.
Oh.
Like in Germany, in the United States, that is. So in Germany, all of their players tested negative, but then when they came to the United States, they all tested positive.
Yeah, I wondered how they all got here with that.
Yeah, because they were all there. They all got tested in Germany. So then when they came here, all of a sudden they're all getting tested and they're all turning out positives? No way. What are these guys' numbers? 65 and 30.
It's tough numbers.
A little bit, eh? Melker,
I knew as soon as that bounce came off the boards.
Well, all three of us went into the slot. I got stuck trying to come down low to cover.
I'm sure with the COVID protocols, everything will go better than it has in other leagues.
Well, this is one of them that I don't understand. All coaches must wear face coverings on the bench. So, I guess if they're talking to refs, or why? Why do they need that?
It's more of a looks thing. You know, other leagues are doing it. You're on TV. He's not an actual player. Like,
yeah, I know, but he's in the room.
Not the players to wear masks, but if you could, you would.
Yeah, I guess. But that's like asking them while they're on their bench. That's like saying while they're on the bench, wear masks. Why?
I think it's ironic that they're trying to save face by like, coaches look like you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, I don't really understand it.
It's funny because you can't even see their face.
Man, I was all over that guy. It's hard for me to play these big guys because I just can't get good positioning on them because I'm so small.
Hey, I'm just happy it's 3-3.
Yeah, maybe if you want to face off, we'd have a better...
I literally just won one way as you said that. Go across and then go back.
No, it's only 0.6 seconds.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I had to take a shot, or else I would have held it for you to come in. That's why I just booked her out of the zone. Way to take the lead going into the...
Yeah.
See those timeouts. So I call a timeout right after they scored 2 to level out momentum again, and look, we're right back in it.
Hey,
actually, we're not even just in it. Yeah.
So I guess we now talk about the offside rule change.
Actually, I love this rule change.
Yeah.
That is easily my favorite because how many teams have been screwed over by a skate being a quarter of an inch off the ice?
Yeah. And no one likes 5-minute reviews.
No.
You know.
They shouldn't even have... The only time they should be able to have a offside review is if it was led directly to the goal. You shouldn't be able to go back 5 minutes to see if they were offside when they entered the zone 3 entries ago. Like...
Yeah, and Brian Burke was talking about how this is good just to grow the game because you don't want... You know, it clarifies the rule. It's similar to other sports. It's easier to watch. You don't get the lengthy reviews.
Exactly. Like football. It's just you just have to break the plane.
To begin with.
Yeah. I don't really understand it either. But
think of like the color of the steel on the skate and the ice and those like zoomed in cameras. Like it was ridiculous that they're trying to see if they're off the ice before.
Yeah.
Like that was so frustrating to watch. When they're like, the heel of the steel might be off the ice. I'm like, of course it is. He's skating.
Yeah, the amount of time that their skate is actually on the ice compared to being off the ice is...
Yeah, it's a little ridiculous.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, what do you think about that, speaking about, like, COVID and all that, the OHL season? Ontario has been put on a lockdown. So the OHL season's
has the biggest impact on is the draft. Like, how wonky will this draft be? Like, when are these kids going to play? Your draft stock in the World Juniors is so important now?
Yeah, that's true.
Oof, that's a tough look.
Yeah, you needed to get rid of that. You had a 2-on-0.
I didn't know that computer defenseman came over to me. I was like, it's a 2-on-1, and he met me at the line.
I couldn't even... I'm fast. I'm the fastest guy on the ice, but I couldn't get there in time.
Well, who knows what these guys' loadouts are.
Well, look how big they are. They're not very fast. Ooh,
okay, all 3 of us were on him.
Yeah. Watch that pass. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, that was on me. Yeah, give me those.
You think? Oh, right as I dropped.
Oh, man, we are not... These guys are really good, though. We'll bring it back.
One of them is.
I'm not too worried about it. Do you see, like, Nugent Hopkins? They've been talking contract, but now going into the season, it's down. They shut it down.
I'm sure everyone's contract talks is a little...
Shut down right now?
Yeah.
Probably looking to see
the
what...
Oilers are above the cap, like... What are you doing talking about money right now? You should be talking about getting rid of money.
Ooh, that was a tough look, Dill.
Yeah, I was hoping at least I get hit into the other guy, knock him down.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, how'd he spin off me? Okay, their computer is hella aggressive.
I have no energy right now.
Oh.
I just had to hit that guy. Cause we need to get a goal, man.
Yeah. How much time is left? 9:57? We got time.
Oh, we got lots of time to tie it. And I just mean, they have most of the momentum right now.
Mm-hmm. Who are you liking for, let's say, the Norris?
For the Norris?
Yeah.
I've been thinking about it for a while. You know, last year, John Carlson, I think, got, like, obviously Roman Yossi stepped up in a huge way, but John Carlson played so good. Wow, that guy defended me awesomely. Getting tied
Yeah,
up.
you know, Hedman, Yossi, and Carlson were your 3 nominees last year. I don't see all 3 of them coming back. I can see Hedman coming back.
I think Carlson will make his way back.
This is a year of the youth. I think Quinn Hughes,
Cale yeah, that's true.
Theodore, all those guys are, you know, no longer up for the Calder. Put them up for the Norris.
In a 56 game season, if any of those young guys can start off hot offensively, I think that they have a really good chance of getting a nomination at least for it.
Yeah.
Oh,
the guy who I like is, they were kind of predicting it years ago for him to get it.
Oh, who's that?
Off year, but looked good in the playoffs this year, is Seth Jones.
Yeah. Seth Jones.
I think he's a great pick for the Norris this year.
Yeah, a lot of it's just going to depend. Like, this 56 game season is so hard to... Oh, thanks for giving it to me 1 second late. It's so hard to see where everyone's going to finish and how people are going to look. Yeah. Being this short of a season, you don't have as much time to... You know, if you get into a slump, you can bust out and you have an extra 30 games to do so. Right? Yeah. But this year, it's like, if you get into a slump, you better get out of that slump ASAP.
Okay, well, let's focus for this last 40 seconds.
Yeah. Nice play.
Oh.
I have no energy or timeouts. Yeah, that was not it.
Ooh, huge compy battle up the line.
Oh, what are you doing? Okay. Jeez, computers. Like, let's just get it in the zone here. 12 seconds. I have no energy.
Yeah, computer at the point.
I didn't get it across. Son of a gun.
Oh.
Yeah, that's game.
Well,
they were good at least. Too bad. That's the worst thing about this game is, so, like, the one guy's an elite 3, so he's probably gonna have 28,000 points or 27,000 points, but the other guy's gonna have what? Yeah, I lost 285.
Yeah, that's who they go off of, is the lower guy.
They go off of 21, and that guy's 30,000 RP.
Yeah, like, they don't look at it as you lost to a 30,000. They look at it to like, oh, you just lost to the gold 3.
Yeah, exactly. So I lost in reality, I should have lost maybe 100, but I lost 285. Yeah. So that's
that's the way they do it.
That's our first loss on stream, so that's not good. But what are you gonna do about it? You know, we're gonna take it as we go. Take our licks, you know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into, you know, this whole episode is dedicated toward the Central Division. Maybe we should get into it a little bit.
Central.
Dig into it.
Yeah.
Dig into the Central.
So the Central this year is Carolina, Chicago, Columbus, Dallas, Detroit, Florida, Nashville, Tampa. This is our first division that we're going to look at, where it's a little mixture of East and West teams. Which is very interesting. Like, I think this is the first year where you're going to see a Stanley Cup final matchup as a divisional matchup the next season.
Yeah, that's true. It's very possible
Like,
to
you're going to see
happen.
Tampa Dallas for 9 times this year. Like,
Well, they're not in the same division though. Tampa's in the Atlantic and Dallas is in the Central.
Tampa, Dallas, Central.
No, but I know, but I'm talking about next year. You're saying that they could
Yeah.
be.
I'm
I
saying last
think
year as a Stanley Cup final
yes,
matchup. This year,
yes. I
it's
see
a
what you're
rivalry
saying.
that you wouldn't see before.
Yeah,
Now you
that's
get to
my
see
bad.
regular season long.
Yeah, that's on me there.
Hey, these new divisions, man, they're a little wonky.
It's hard to really comprehend what the heck is going on half the time.
Yeah.
But all right, so let's start. What do you think about the Canes? How do you think they had? How do you think their off season went?
I like that they, kind of sticking with the team that they had. They lose 3 defensemen in Vatanen, Edmondson, and Van Riemsdyk.
Mm-hmm.
But you re-sign Hayden Fleury. I think you have Jake Bean as a rookie. I think you already have like an embarrassment of riches at D. So not a bad offseason for Carolina.
I'm a big fan of Carolina's team. Last year, actually, I chose them to in my bracket. I actually chose them to win the whole thing because I thought their D was so good. But at the end of the day, it comes down to goaltending, and they just don't have a number one goaltender, and it's showing.
Yeah, I don't mind Peter Mrazek. It just depends with these shortened seasons. Is he hot or is he not? Because it's the same thing with the playoffs a couple of years ago. They sweep a team, but then you can't. Your goalie's hot. Next series, your goalie's not hot. It's
in this
tough to play
offseason,
in front of.
with all the goalies going and how cheap they were going for, Carolina should have went out and got that number one goalie that they needed. They could have got even bring in Holtby as their 1B and keep Mrazek.
Yeah.
And have
Well, I'll
Holtby
say
as
this,
their
they
1A.
still have a shot next year. Next year, goalie UFAs is Rask, Bennington, Grubauer, and Rene.
Yeah.
So I think you have a year to see what you got with Mrazek, but
Yeah, that's true.
it's tough going into the season with question marks. I feel like internally they like to say that Mrazek is a number one goalie in this league, but
it's just he's not. They don't have much. They have under $1 million in cap space now.
Mm-hmm.
No one really to re-sign, which is good. Next year is going to be wow. Next year they have a lot of people to re-sign.
Yeah, both goalies. James Reimer, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think James Reimer is your guy. I think Peter Mrazek is your guy.
Oh, 100%. Mrazek's 4 years younger.
Mm-hmm.
He's proven to be a higher caliber goaltender, but Reimer has been in the league a long time, and when he played for Carolina last year, behind that defense, he was very good.
Mm-hmm.
He had
This
signs
team has
of like,
really good depth players.
oh yeah. Well, every time I look at their defense, they have 6 top 4 D.
Mm-hmm.
It blows my mind. Dougie Hamilton, Jakob Slavin, Brady Shea. I think was one of the best pickups last year at the deadline. Jake Gardner brought in last year on free agency. Brett Pesce, one of the most underrated defensive D-men in the league. And then they just re-signed Hayden Fleury. Like, I love their D so much.
Yeah, and then you add Joakim Ryan as this depth guy.
Yeah, 7th D. You gotta have that 7th D.
Hurt,
Yep.
And Jake Bean, I think, can crack this lineup.
Jake Bean, yeah, that's guy coming up. And then Martin, I think this Martin Nikash, or however you say it,
oh yeah,
he is gonna be a good factor here. First round pick a couple years ago. He's got 2 years left on his ELC, and he can easily be a top 6 forward for these guys. So I'm a big Canes fan.
Morgan Geeky looked good in the playoffs, and he can come in next year.
Yeah, he came out of nowhere.
You re-sign Warren Fogle at 2.1, which is pretty good, but just for the 1 year.
Yeah.
So, but hey, for the season, not bad.
Next on our list is Chicago.
Chicago, in my head, I thought they were going to do better this year, and then Kirby Dach got hurt, and now they're still kind of a basement team.
Yeah, well, especially with losing Kirby Dach. That's going to be tough.
In my head, I have no understanding how you can go into a season with Malcolm Subban and Colin Delia as your goalies.
Well, Stan Bowman came out and said this is going to be a rebuilding team. They're going into a rebuilding phase. And so, I mean, having Delia and Subban as your goalie tandem, that'll get you a top pick pretty quick.
Yeah, that really kind of says we're rebuilding.
Yeah, no doubt. Screaming it, really.
Yeah. But who else leaves? Brandon Saad leaves, Drake Kajula leaves, Oli Mata leaves, Slater Kukuk leaves.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know how, but this team managed to get worse.
Yeah, well, they wanted to, like, realistically, they wanted to get worse. They brought in Zadorov for Brown and Sod.
So they brought
Zadorov.
in that
D-man. I do like him as well.
He was buried under great defenseman in Colorado. He was destined for more, so now he'll get it in Chicago.
Problem with Zadorov is he takes questionable hits, risks suspension a few too many times, but when he's playing, he's pretty good.
Yeah.
They brought in Matthias Janmark, bottom six, and Lucas Wallmark from Carolina.
Yeah, I think Carolina and Dallas had great depth, and pulling from those two pools, I think, is a good move for Chicago. Re-signing Dominic Kubalik is a good move for Chicago.
Very good move. They have $5 million in cap space, and they still need to re-sign Dylan Strome. So I'm curious to see what they do there.
Yeah, I don't feel like Strome should... I don't know, he deserves still like a show-me deal, even though he's been in the league for a couple of years. He hasn't really broken out into the blur that he should be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, considering he and Connor McDavid were best friends playing together, drafted both, and then was Strome
Top
third
four.
overall?
Fourth overall.
Fourth. Like, it's a little disappointing that it's taken him this long. But I think back with DeBrincat, he has potential, but I think you still gotta sign him to keep him around to see if he has that potential.
Yeah, I agree. You definitely have to re-sign him, hands down. You can't just let him. You can't just let him sit out. But I don't know what. I don't know what the number is he wants.
I think honestly, you should just give him like 2.5 for a year. Play with DeBrincat. Hopefully, you get more.
Give him the same deal as Kubalik. They both got two. Yeah. He got a $2 million, a 2-year deal at what, 3.5? I think.
Yeah.
2.5, 3.5, something like that. And then he can go out there and prove it too. 3.7 he got, Kubalik. So yeah, give Strome the exact same offer and see what they do together.
Yeah, it's... Take a guess as to what Malcolm Subban's numbers were last year. I got them in front of me, and I...
Like, what, his save percentage, or...?
Save percentage and goals against.
I don't know goals against average very well, but his save percentage I'd probably say is a 901.
It is an 890.
Even worse.
Sub 900 save percentage, and there's your starting goalie.
Yeah.
I think that alone says you are not a good team.
All right, that's enough for Chicago. Let's go on to Columbus. Chicago, they're rebuilding. They're not gonna do much. So
Columbus, black and red, just like Jersey.
I think Columbus is putting themselves into a pretty decent spot. They lost some pretty big names though, and they traded Josh Anderson for Max Domi. That's going to be... I like the Domi deal better than the Josh Anderson deal.
I didn't like the trade at first until I saw what Josh Anderson signed for, and I'm like, oh, never mind, that's a good trade.
Exactly. They bought out Alex Venberg, who they signed for a decent amount of money and never produced. They traded Ryan Murray to New Jersey, and then they traded Marcus Navarra to Florida. So...
Yeah, and they bring in Mikko Koivu and Mikhail Grigorenko. I think they made good additions, for sure.
Yeah, of course. Well, Mikko Koivu is just a solid leader. To get
Pierre-Luc Dubois back in the lineup.
Yeah, easy. And then
I think it's up and coming.
So they must have wanted Gavrikov and Carlson to step in. Step up into the league, so...
Mm-hmm. And you also have Liam Foudy, who played in the playoffs, looked good, and he comes back.
Liam Foudy played. He was London Knight, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
But here's where we differ, is they re-signed both their goalies, and I think Korpisalo, at 2.8 instead of 4, should be their starting goalie, as opposed to Merzlikins, who gets $4 million by 2.
Yeah. So this is my sell for Merzlikins. Is Elvis, he came in, he struggled early, didn't get a win for a large part of the season, but when he dialed himself in, he got he dominated. He got shutout after shutout. He proved himself over a long period of time in the regular season that he can sustain that number one role. Whereas Korpisalo played very, very well in the playoffs. So Korpisalo has a smaller sample size of dominant play, and Merzlikins has a bigger sample size of dominant play. So that's why I think Merzlikins gets 4 and Korpisalo gets 2.5.
If you're a team and you have a 1A, 1B scenario in net, you decide who your starting goalie is. You tell the world, here's my guy. Game 1 of the playoffs, and that was Korpisalo last year. You know, that tells me that that's the guy that they want to go with, but then they give Merzlikins 4? Like, yeah, it's... Merzlikins had slightly better numbers and slightly less games, but
I understand what you're saying,
so
but
similar.
In 33 games, he posted a 9.23 with a 2.35, a 9.23 save percentage and a 2.35.
But Korpisalo had a 260 goals against and a 911 save percentage. Like, they're not far off.
Over how many games?
37. Very similar.
So he played.
Just a few more games.
So he played 4 more games than Merzlikins. Merzlikins had 5 shutouts in 33 games and posted a 9.23.
I just felt like this is an off season where they were both going to make very similar deals, and the numbers just seem a little far apart for my liking.
Well, that's where we differ, and you know what? We'll find out this year.
They're a good team anyways.
Yeah, they are a very good team.
2 good goalies is a better than being Chicago.
Yeah, that is very true. So, last, before we start our next game here, Dallas. What do you think about Dallas?
Yeah, you kind of pay the price when you go that deep in the playoffs and you have to pay people. You lose Corey Perry, who was great in the playoffs, not so great in the regular season. Janmark, Polak isn't much of a guy leaving, but Martin Hansel retires. You don't lose a lot, but
no, you didn't really lose that much. You lost a bottom 6 center in Matthias Janmark.
It's
but
also
you brought
an aging
in.
team.
You know what's funny though? They brought in Mark Pysyk. Last year, Mark Pysyk played both the D and wing,
Yes.
and while playing the wing, he scored a hat trick.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see
Dallas?
what he's gonna do, what they're gonna do with him. But then
And
they
then
brought
you can
back
bring in Yoel Kiviranta, who
yeah,
everyone knows the
Kiviranta.
name of now.
Also scored a hat trick in the playoffs. But they
Other than
re-signed.
that, your rookies aren't very deep.
They brought a
The
lot of
other
people
rookie
back
I have
though.
is Robertson, who was a second-round pick in 2017.
Yeah.
Like, you better hope that this era stays open.
Well, they have young players in the lineup. Like Fax is not that old. They just re-signed him for 5 years. Hintz they got for another 3. Gurionov they got for 2 more years. So at pretty decent numbers.
Sekera.
Yeah, Sekera at 2 years at 1.5 is a good number for him. He's a bit older, but he's a solid puck moving D man.
I think Dallas's most impressive thing they did in the offseason, 5 new contracts, not one of them are for 1 year. Every other team, just 1 year deals, 1 year deals. You got Khudobin for 3, Faxa for 5, Hintz for 3, Guriana for 2. Like, I don't know how they managed to do it, but somehow they did what other teams couldn't.
Thanks for just repeating everything I just said.
You're welcome.
So yeah, Dallas is gonna be pretty good again, especially in that division.
Yeah, well, we'll see how Sagan bounces back from the injury in the playoffs. Him and Ben are always up and down. It's an off year, it's a good year. Their owner hates them, the fans love them. It's a lot of drama in Dallas.
That's true. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be interesting to see how it all goes.
Like, Ben had that one great year, and he's always kind of been regressing since. Which I don't think you like if you're in Dallas. He looked so good.
Yeah.
No, not really.
No, I agree. The non-binaries. What a name. You know what?
Level 27, level 32.
For anyone who's listening, I'm going to do a quick look on them. See where they're at here. The non-binaries. What a name.
Can't forget a name like that.
Non-binaries. A Div 6 team.
Good for them.
Ooh, 20 wins, 10 losses. Oh yeah, I like what you did with the jerseys. Touched up a bit. We're playing Cole Beasley.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, speaking of editing to the jerseys, the Capitals and the Devils were the first to reveal their helmet ads.
Yeah, I was disgusted by the idea last time, and I still hate the look of it. And I never understood what Washington was doing with that video. It's like they're announcing that they just re-signed Ovi to like a 50-year deal, and it's like an ad is on her helmet.
But I do like how it's
so
Capital,
dramatic.
how they're the Capitals and they got Capital One. I think that's
Yeah.
quite ironic, but at the same time, very fitting.
Mm-hmm.
So it worked out, in my opinion.
At least it's team colors. And Prudential, I don't know. I think the ads still look really weird on the jerseys
Oh, of course they do.
or on the helmets. I thought they were going to be smaller. Like, where's the Caps logo? You know, on the back, like a little sticker, like it died, and you're trying to remember it.
That guy's done. Yeah. Well, you gotta make the advertisers happy. They're paying the advertisers are paying millions of dollars to have that little logo on their helmet.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I wonder if a team like Chicago, New York, Toronto does it, because they've allowed teams to do it. So far, New Jersey and Washington are the only teams that have announced. But historical logos and teams like Montreal and Toronto, will they?
Are you talking about like original sixes or?
Yeah, like will they dare toss an ad on the helmet?
I don't see why not. Every owner is looking to make some money, recovering some funds after the hit they took last season. So I think everyone will take the opportunity, but teams like that I think will just after the year or whatever will just ditch it if it stays around or something.
Yeah.
Whoa, hit the net.
Okay, well, let's do little predictions. Which team do you think will be the next to show an ad on their helmet?
Oh,
ooh, that was
probably like a Florida or a Arizona, someone who's trying to make as much money as possible.
Yeah, I was thinking a California team like San Jose. They got that big thing going with SAP.
Yeah, the Kraken.
Center.
The Kraken might release one just as a teaser on their new jerseys.
Yeah, they tossed the lights on their old Climb and Pledge arena the other day.
Yeah, I saw that.
I saw. A little weird that they went heavy green with that logo on a team that's very blue.
Yeah. Yeah, it is very blue. I do like the red accents though.
Yes,
I think the league
it's going to be a
red.
good-looking team.
It is going to
They
be.
did a phenomenal job bringing in Vegas and Seattle. They both look so good.
Speaking of expansion teams, I guess on the first expansion team, you got Derek Engelland, who just retired. Who's a part of that. He was a big influence when it came to that mass shooting that happened in Vegas. He's from Vegas, and he just called her quits this year.
Yeah, he was like a depth D-man in Calgary, fighting two guys at once for fun. And then he goes to Vegas in that expansion draft, and they said, like, if they won the cup that year against Washington, he was their guy to go accept it.
Yeah.
Like, it was a great year for Derek Engelland. He was basically the face of a franchise who I thought no one would ever say about Derek Engelland. But
it was nice to watch.
He tripped me.
Did he?
Yeah. We'll see if I score, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for Derek Engelland.
I think he had he was good. Just
something in Vegas, and
he became something in Vegas, exactly. And that's what a lot of people did. A lot of people took that opportunity of being. You suck at those so bad.
Yeah.
They took it as being
it's obvious
rejects from other teams and turning their career around, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
Eric Holla.
Well, sure.
Like, I mean,
I was thinking more of like William Karlsson, who wasn't getting recognized. A Riley Smith, who they paid them to take his contract. He turned around and was a big leader of that team.
Vegas.
Yeah, him, and they gave up, just to take Riley Smith's contract, they gave them Jonathan Marchessault.
And
Here,
now the two
just
of them
take
are
them.
killing it.
And now they're top line. They've been
Yeah.
top line there ever since. So I'm curious
I
to see
wonder
how
if they have the audacity to do something for Derek England, like raise a number, or like a. Some teams have like their own like Ring of Honor or something.
Yeah,
I feel
I
like
know what
Vegas
you're
needs
talking.
something here as an early franchise, and I wonder if Derek England is that guy. If they
Could be.
kind of,
I bet you he gets
toss his
on.
picture up
He
somewhere.
gets on with Vegas as a senior advisor or a player development or something like
Oh,
that.
yeah, that's true. That'd be nice.
If that's what he wants to do, if he wants to get into hockey, that's definitely
Maybe
what he's
Florida
gonna
needs
do.
another guy for that goalie excellence program.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
I
sure
think they have
Derek
enough people to
England.
train Bobrovsky how to save pucks.
He knows how to block shots. So
Yeah, that's it. Him and Bobrovsky are seeing how many shots they can stop.
yeah, exactly. Bobrovsky's fully decked out, and England just has his shin pads on.
Yeah, great teammate.
Talking about great uh, guys, though, did you see that Draisaitl and Pasternak each won top athlete?
No, I didn't, but I think well deserved. Pasternak, I always forget how young he is. Playing on that
Yeah.
older Bruins team, I always think like he fits in there so well, like he's been there all along. It's very impressive what he's doing in Boston. I felt like he should have got like a Hart or a Lindsay nomination in there somewhere. People look at Bergeron and Marchand and they're like, they're so good that it takes away from Pasta. But look at how young Pasta is and how great of a leader he is on that team.
So yeah, they won top athlete in their respective countries. So he won it in the Czech, and Draisaitl won it in Germany.
Yeah.
So
And hey,
that's
the Czechs are big hockey people.
oh yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So no, it's good. I think for him. I love the
Yeah.
quote by Pasternak when he signed, because him and Draisaitl were up against each other for who's going to sign first, who's going to get paid more, and Pasternak signed that 666 deal over I can't remember how many years. Doesn't really matter. He signed for 6.66 million, and then the Draisaitl signed for 8.5, and they're like, "What do you think about that?" And he's like, "I'm playing in the NHL, playing the game I love. I could be playing for
Yeah.
a couple $100 a week in the Czech. I'm making $6 million. I'm not going to complain." Oh,
and that's like I don't know how the Bruins are doing it, but like it's like everyone's taking great contracts.
yeah. Oh, if Lee would have passed that back, that would have been a goal.
I'd like to see that more. Like, yes, McDavid's the best player in the league, but did he really have to take that monster contract?
And you know what bugs me actually about all that kind of stuff is that everyone's like, "Oh, but he took a deal because he could have taken 15. He could have taken
Yeah.
15, but he took 12.75." Like,
Yeah, it's
okay. He could have taken 10 and been like
how much
everybody else, and then gave yourself
better
even
would
more
Toronto
money.
be if each guy got like 9 and 8s instead of 10s and 11s? Like, geez,
Yeah, exactly. Well,
like
Calgary
you're a
did a very
millionaire
good
either
job.
way.
Yeah, and you think that this is going to be the last contract you sign? Probably not.
Yeah. Make money after they have to trade Nylander because he took too much.
Mm-hmm. Ah, he got there. No, I don't understand these guys who have to make. Well, a perfect example is Nylander. He held out for how long just to get that $6.9 million contract? Like, is it really worth? Is that
Why is my
really?
guy slap-shotting that every time?
I don't know. But like, was
Yeah.
it really worth the holdout to get
Yeah.
what, an extra $500K a year?
Like, Pittsburgh got 2 cups because guys like Malkin and Crosby saved some for the rest of you.
Well, no, because Crosby's so superstitious, it must be 8-7, 8-7, 8-7, 8-7.
Yeah.
It just so
Well,
happened that it was close to his cap.
Even Letang and not Letang and Crosby, Letang and Fleury when they were there.
Oh, everyone
Aren't
took.
demanding too much.
Well,
Like,
Crosby
it's-
said it only works if everybody does it. Taking
Yeah.
less only works if everybody does it. So Boston's done a really good job of that. Calgary's done a really good job of that, and Pittsburgh's done a really good job of that. And Boston's been a contender for a long time. Calgary's working its way there, and Pittsburgh's obviously won 3 cups. So
I think
Sorry.
every time you hear a guy like McDavid say, "All I want to do is win," just look at his contract, and that doesn't
Yeah,
tell me all I want to do is win.
I know. Like, I get it. You want to make as much money as possible. Everybody wants to make
Yeah,
as much money as possible. But it's like, don't buckle your team by doing it.
yeah. Take shorter deals, win cups, then get your money for
Yeah,
a long
Trevor
time.
Trevor Bauer style will only ever sign 1 year deals.
Yeah, like, yeah. How long do you think it is before Edmonton figures out and can win a cup?
For Edmonton to win a cup?
Yeah, because I feel like they were the Ottawa of like 4 years ago, where everyone's like, "Oh man, they have so many young talent. They're going to be so good for a decade," and then nothing really showed for it.
It all depends. I don't think they're winning a cup within the next couple years. I could say within 5 years I could see it, depending on how they make their moves.
Yeah,
But yeah, I don't know. It all depends. I could see it. I could see it in 5 years, but I could also see it happening within 10 years too, if they really screw it up. I could see
yeah,
McDavid. If they miss the playoffs this year and next year, I could see McDavid being like, "Trade me.
yeah.
I
I don't
want
know. I
to."
see McDavid being a homer there for life. I can see Draisaitl maybe wanting to go somewhere else if things aren't working out.
Yeah,
But I think Canadian kid hanging out with Gretzky in a Canadian market. I think, after losing Gretzky the first time, I don't think you'd never hear the end of it from an Oilers fan base if they lost McDavid too.
yeah. Well,
Because
at
they
least,
always refer to them as the second, like the two best hockey players of all time, and you'd never hear the end of that.
hmm that's true. But with like when it came to Gretzky, at least they won cups with him. It's not like
Yeah,
they didn't do anything; they just
true.
squandered it away, and then he left and won his cups. And with
Yeah,
Crosby, at least when he first got there, they were good within a couple years, and they were contenders. They were fighting for cups. They were in playoffs. What a pass! Whereas McDavid, it's like they're missing playoffs most of the years. They're not in a position where they're going to contend for a cup.
yeah,
I don't want to say that they're not, because like anyone in this league can contend for a cup with it if a couple things work out your way.
hmm
But especially when you have McDavid on your team.
yeah,
But I don't know. Compared to other teams, I just don't see it
yeah.
as
Well,
well.
I got a little off topic with all the McDavid talk.
Yeah.
I like to
Okay.
talk bad about the Oilers. You want to talk about some of the remaining UFAs?
Sure.
Still waiting for deals?
There's the biggest one, obviously, is Mike Hoffman. Everyone's
Yeah.
linking him to Boston. They're saying, "Oh, Boston, that's the only guy Boston wants." They could use that scoring winger in their
If
their
Columbus
depth.
figures out Pierre-Luc
What
Dubois,
a
he might be a
pass!
fit there. Oh,
Oh,
hey, it almost worked out.
yeah, it did. Oh,
Oh, I
these.
don't like that.
I hate that play. Just watch that pass. Oh, too bad. Oh, I gave up on the play because I thought you were gonna.
Do that?
Yeah,
Well, I saw I was like all alone. I'm like,
you were all
on
alone.
a stream, might as well try it.
Yeah, if it works, it's awesome.
I'm gonna
I'm
shoot for the
not.
pads.
Ooh, nice
Oh,
try. Ooh, I got buckled. Yeah, so Mike Hoffman's obviously the biggest one. You got a couple decent names. The defense is interesting because you got Sami Vatanen, you have Travis Hamonic, Zdeno
yeah.
Chara. Who knows if he's going to come back, or if he just wants to play again, he might sign somewhere else. Even you got a couple older guys in Andy Green and Ron Hainsey
I'd like
who
to
can
see
bring
maybe
some.
Chara go sign in Ottawa.
I was
Start your
thinking
career
Ottawa
there, end
or
it there.
even the Islanders. I thought that
Yeah,
would be cool.
that would be cool to see. Because both franchises are just like, I can't believe we gave up Chara. Like,
Yeah,
at least
because
they maybe have one more shot to get him back.
after what he turned into in Boston, for
Well,
sure. These guys just gonna hold it, or
yeah. I think Carl Soderberg was a guy who is kind of a good penalty killer, good depth guy who's been waiting to see if there'll be a season, and now there's a season, so.
you know what about Carl Soderberg is he was great in Boston, but when he left, he commanded so much money. So
Yeah.
he left, he went to Colorado and Arizona, and now he's a free agent again. So I could see him coming. I would like him back on Boston if we get him for a decent number.
I always liked Justin Abdelkader when he was in Detroit. I thought he was a guy who was, they developed him when he was young and he was looking good, but then he just kind of plateaued. But I remember, like, in my franchise mode a few years ago, like, I made him captain. I thought he was a homer in Detroit. Yeah, here we are, and now he's a free agent.
Yeah, well, the one guy that, speaking of Detroit, was Andreas Athanasiou. Like, he dropped off. He was so good for a short amount of time. 26 points in
50 games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much potential.
Maybe if you go to a place like LA where you need players and you get top line minutes.
You know what's too bad though is when he was with Edmonton. I thought that was his perfect fit to be on McDavid's line. He's so fast. That's exactly what he needed.
You thought he was the perfect fit there. You should have heard how Oilers fans kept talking about him. He was like their third answer of the season after Ty Ratty.
After Ty Ratty, after Joachim no, not Joachim Nordstrom.
Joachim Nygard.
Nygaard. Yeah. After Nygaard, then you brought in Ennis. That's their new. This is McDavid's winger, because he's fast.
Yeah, that's all. Tyler Ennis.
That's all you have to be with McDavid. You need one guy who's fast to score on the rush, and one guy to sit in front of the net, which is Zach Kassian. And that's McDavid's line. Or if they want to just pad all their stats, put him with Draisaitl, and then have a no bottom nine.
I always would like to see Edmonton do that at least for a season. Top line, McDavid, Nugent Hopkins, Draisaitl. Just try to outscore the other team.
Live, Anthony Cirelli signs 3-year deal for $4.8 million AAV.
Where?
Just happened.
Like in Tampa?
Yeah, of course in Tampa.
Oh my goodness, that's a lot. Well, how do they still have money?
I don't know.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Kucherov has to be going on LTIR.
Well,
yeah, they're still doing that.
He is. They already announced that he's going on LTIR.
Man, that's a lot of money.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know what Tampa's doing with it. I don't know where they're getting this money from. But as long as they're cap compliant when the season starts, I don't really care.
Yeah, that's true.
I would laugh if they weren't cap compliant and they got some major... What happens if you're not cap compliant anyways?
No idea.
I just don't think you're allowed to not be, right? Like, you have to... Do you just have to send a bunch of people on waivers? Probably.
That'd be pretty sick. After all this time, Tyler Johnson just gets picked up on waivers.
Well, I don't think... They waived him already. Do you not remember that? They already waived him trying to get rid of his contract, and it didn't work. Get it up!
Oh, what a play by the computer.
Oh, I thought I'd try and get you some points. I've scored 3 or 4 breakaways. Yeah, probably.
I keep winning face-offs to the comp. He was feeding you breakaway passes.
Yeah.
I think Winnipeg should probably go out and sign Brandon Manning just to break McDavid's collarbone again. Keep him in the Canadian division next year.
Make him play. No, who should do it is either. Do they play them 10 times? I can't remember. It's Calgary plays Edmonton 10 times, and either way, it's a ton.
Yeah.
So yeah, just get him out there in every shift. Manning's just gonna yell racial slurs and slash your collarbone.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. What a guy.
What a dominant game. I got 244. I've
fallen. Really? That's quite a bit for that team.
I've fallen off. I have 1366 to my next rank.
Oof.
Yeah, they're 22,000.
I got 257. I am 922 to my next rank.
That was good.
Okay, let's go to the other half of this division.
Mm-hmm. And then we'll do our predictions for it. Oh, we're starting off with Detroit.
Busy team. I like a lot that they did.
Yeah.
Steve Yzerman is a smart guy. So they lose Trevor Daley, Jonathan Ericsson, Jimmy Howard, Perlini, Abdelkader. You lose all the right pieces to lose. You know, the older guys making too much money. Then you bring in Nemesnikov. Shout out to him. Played him last year on NHL20. Thomas Greiss, Stahl, Bobby Ryan, Troy Stetcher, John Merrill. Like, great moves.
Yeah, no, they did. They made a lot of moves. Bringing in Mark Stahl was a good one because they got a second-round pick for 1 year
Yeah.
of his contract. That was really good on their part.
I like Thomas Grace getting a shot at some more 1A, 1B time because he
But
always looked good on the island.
the biggest thing to me is not what they lost or what they brought in, it's who they kept. They signed Mantha for 4 years. They signed Bertuzzi to a year. They brought Fabry back for 2 years. I'm always been a big fan of this Adam Ernie. He's never had a good shot in the NHL, but
he's got a great name, so keep him around. And then the rookies that can crack the lineup, incredible. Raymond, Cedar, Veleno, Rasmussen, all first-round picks.
Joe Veleno was a OHL exemption. He was allowed to play whatever he was. He was allowed to play when he was 15 years old in the CHL. So shows right there that he was amazing.
Yeah, and he's really looked good at the World Juniors when he was there. What year was he drafted? 2017, 2018, 30th overall.
Yeah. I was surprised he fell almost right out of the first round.
He's been playing Sweden over the summer, which is good to see. Well, over the winter off season.
Michael Rasmussen was a really high pick. Was projected to be a good pick. So he's definitely a chance. Moritz Cedar was a reach. Everyone said he was a reach, and now they're saying he's one of the top prospects in hockey. So obviously, Yzerman is playing chess when we're all playing chess.
They're doing something right in Detroit, and I think it's going to pay off soon.
Yeah, they have so much young talent coming in, and if they can take on a Johnson or a Killorn contract, and get some picks with it, you're looking good.
Yeah, the only thing that sucks is you got absolutely murdered by that draft lottery.
Yeah, they got bent over with that one for sure.
Yeah,
it'll be cool to see what they do.
Yeah, let's go on to Florida.
Florida. This is my my pick for the what's it called? Vezina. I chose a bounce back year for Bobrovsky.
Yeah, you gotta hope he can at least play better than last year. I don't think it gets much worse. You have two young goalies there behind him, Montembeault and Chris Drager. Chris Drager looked good last year when he was there.
Oh, you're not even talking about Spencer Knight. The number one pick 2 years ago.
Yeah, signing a goalie for $10 million and then drafting a goalie in the first round.
No, it's even worse is that they drafted the goalie in the first round and then signed him. And then signed Bobrovsky.
A little odd. And
I don't really understand. No wonder
I don't understand a lot of things that they do.
No wonder Talon got fired.
Like, you don't want to re-sign Hoffman, but you bring in Hornquist at 5.3?
Well, that was with the trade because they ditched that 6-year deal for Matheson. So I get it. He's worth more money, but like it's lower years, and Hornquist still is a relevant player, I find.
Yeah, so you lose Hoffman and Matheson, but then you lose Dadonov, you lose Holla, Walmart, Boyle, Pissick.
Oh man, they lost
quite a bit of pieces.
They lost.
You bring in Wenberg, which I liked Wenberg.
I still think 2.25 is an overpayment in my opinion. He should have signed a 1-year, $1 million deal after being bought out by Columbus just to prove himself.
Like Hinestroza and Verhaeghe.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I think he should have done, but whatever. None.
I like bringing in Gudas, the big bad boy of the NHL.
Yeah, he brings.
He replaces that with Keith.
He replaces.
He's just a big chunky Yandel.
Mike Matheson and Mark Pizik, which is nice because they were both two big guys. So they bring in Nudavar and Gudas for that. I like. They re-signed Mackenzie Weegar,
which is good.
They re-signed Mackenzie Weegar, who I like. Owen Tippett could finally maybe make this team.
Yeah, Owen Tippett is a really interesting prospect.
Mm-hmm.
He was drafted high, looked good, and then immediately to the AHL and never really pushed for an NHL spot. Like, he hasn't really been an up and down guy. He's always just been a down guy.
Yeah, he's never
So we'll
really...
see if this year, with an addition of a taxi squad, if he has a shot of being up and down.
The thing about Florida is that they have $6.6 million in cap. They only have one RFA to sign. So they even could go out and make a move for for a RFA.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe
Yeah.
they put that $6 million and bring back Mike Hoffman for 1 year. He probably would
I
come
don't see.
back.
I thought they would bring back Dadonov. So
I did too. Dadonov was one of I love Dadonov. Him signing
yeah,
in
he's gonna look
Ottawa
good in Ottawa.
caught me off guard, but yeah, he's gonna look good.
Yeah. And you have the first round pick after Tippett, Dennis Sanko, who is in 2018. He might be able to crack the lineup.
Yeah, it'll be cool to see what's going on there.
Yeah. Not a lot changed. I think it's still a pretty good team in Florida.
Another team that's made some good moves is Nashville, who's next on our list here.
Yeah. They were kind of in trouble with some of their contracts there with Nick Bonino and Kyle Turris, but they get rid of both of them. Like,
Yeah,
not the entirety of both contracts, but at least you move them.
it's true. They
Like,
have on Turris, they have $2 million against their cap for the next 2, 4, 6, 7 years at least. They have another. They
yeah.
have $2
Oh,
million on
it's
their
a
cap.
lengthy one.
Yeah,
Yeah. But you got yourself in trouble with Subban, Bonino, and Turris, and here you are 2 years later, and now none of them are on your team. I think that's
the fact
great
that they
moves to
got
get
rid of
those
Subban
contracts.
last year without having to take on any salary is
Yeah.
amazing.
Amazing for this team.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
very
so
well
then they
done.
bring in Borokop,
Yeah.
which I don't know how he doesn't stay in Ottawa after how much that owner seemed to love him. But,
Yeah, he
you
did
know,
he was very well known in Ottawa. I'm surprised he didn't
he was
stay
the only
there.
guy left from that conference finals team.
Yeah.
But now everyone's gone. Eric Holla is in Nashville. Cousins back in Nashville. Matt Benning to Nashville. Brad Richardson in Nashville. Like, good depth signings.
Yeah, of course. And then they re-signed Yakov Trenin, who I talked about earlier. They can re-sign Luke Kunin, who they brought over from Minnesota, who was a top pick. But the real question is, what is Eeli Tolvanen gonna do for this team?
Yeah, he was
He
very hyped.
he was so overhyped coming in. He couldn't adjust to the ice size. He couldn't figure it out. And
Yeah,
I don't
people were
even.
talking about him for the Calder when he came in. like,
I
and
know.
he's still trying to crack the lineup.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they do. Bringing back Mikael Granlund, I think, was a good move as well.
Yes, very good move. I liked him in Nashville. That Fiala deal and Granlund deal, it worked out for both teams, and you don't see that very often.
Yes, that is true. But no, I think that Nashville made some good moves. They made some. They did a good job of managing the cap.
hmm
But let's go and let's talk about the real team that matters in this division,
Yeah.
which is Tampa Bay, the team that's going to dominate this division.
The team that's going to dominate all the owners' monies and the salary cap. And
You know who's going to, you know what
Jeez.
though? Tampa Bay is going to get hit hard by that expansion draft. They're going to lose
Yeah.
a good player.
Yep. Right
But
now,
they didn't.
they sit, was that $12 million over the cap? Like, oh my goodness.
I don't understand how they're doing this, but they have re-signed all their RFAs. They only, from their team last year, they only lost Kevin Shattenkirk.
Yeah.
Well, they lost
Incredible.
Bogosian. They lost Bogosian too, but he was there just for a little while.
Yeah.
But like they haven't brought anything in, but they're just trying to save everyone they had. But they're gonna lose Kucherov at least for the year.
Yeah.
They could come back in playoffs, but this
But
team
hey,
is.
at least
I don't
Stamkos
know.
should be back.
I don't
for
know
a
how.
year. Hopefully he
Yeah,
won't get hurt.
until he gets hurt again, because that's
Yeah.
what Stamkos seems to do. But it seems like Julian Breezeball is doing a good job. Hopefully
Yep.
he knows what he's doing with this cap, because it's not looking pretty for everybody
Yeah.
else.
Well,
But-
it looked like it was a good start to the offseason. Great deals for Maroon and Shen.
Yeah,
Like, combined under $2 million. Like,
yeah,
great deals there.
I know.
4.8 for Sergachev, an absolute bargain and a half.
Absolute bargain. Couldn't believe
For
it.
3 years, too. Not even, like, 3 years at 4.8.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up quick. I wonder what they put his last year of his contract at, because if it's big money, that's his. He'll still be an RFA, but that'll be his minimum he can sign for.
Oh, right.
So I'm just trying to do that. Anyways, let's start. Well, I looked that up. What what do you have for the division? Let's see what are our predictions. Start from the bottom.
Okay, start with the bottom. It's going to be Detroit. I like their moves, but it's built for the future, not for right now.
That's exactly where they're going with it. They want
Yeah.
to that they want to be in last. They want to get that big pick, and they want to
Nice to see Bobby Ryan
last.
go to Detroit. I hope he has a good year there.
We didn't even
but
talk
I think
about him.
Yeah, I think it's just for just to have fun this year in Detroit.
Okay, so
get some growth.
In Sergachev's last year of his RFA deal, he makes of this 3-year deal, he makes $7.2 million.
Oof.
So
Yeah,
that means
that's what he deserves.
Coming off that deal, he's going to sign for at least that.
Mm-hmm.
Off of his qualifying offer, that is. So
he deserves it.
Yep, that'll be a good one for him. But yeah,
so
I have Detroit. I have Detroit in last. Yep.
Makes sense. Who do you have in 7th?
I have the other team that's rebuilding is Chicago, especially with those two goalies. There's no chance that they contend this year.
Yeah, it makes sense. I also have Chicago in 7.
Mm-hmm. I then have Nashville.
Look at this. I also have Nashville. It's a good team, but for me, goaltending is actually the question.
Really?
You know, it's like 3 years ago, it was like, oh, UC Saros, Pekka Rinne, elite goalie tandem in this league. And now, a couple years later, and I'm thinking they're both question marks. Pekka Rinne did not have a good season, so is this Saros' first year as a starter? Or, again, are you going to have that back and forth, like with Lundqvist last year in New York? Like, you're trying to respect Pekka Rinne, but you're kind of like, UC Saros is our guy.
I think of Nashville as like a poor man's Vegas. Vegas took all these second liners and third liners and put together a full team that clicked, and they made a very deep, very good team. And I think that's exactly what Nashville is. They don't have a number. They don't have like great number one players. Like they signed Matt Duchene. They
always expected a lot out of Johansson when they traded
for Seth Jones.
Their big
three are Ryan Johansson, who they expected a lot out of, Matt Duchene, and Philip Forsberg. Philip Forsberg, when he can stay healthy, is very, very good. Matt Duchene, he was a top pick. He gets paid a lot of money. He gets supposed to do good, but all he does is put up points. He's not a very good two-way player. He's not a...
I don't think Matt Duchene has really proved that he's a good team guy.
He needs good players around him to be good.
Yeah.
And Johansson's just never turned into that really good player that they expected. So I think that I just think that they're just not as good as they need to be.
Okay, well then let's go with the team in 5th place that's just gonna miss the cut for the playoffs. Who do you have?
Yeah, I have Florida.
Ooh, I have Columbus.
Really? The only thing that the reason I disagree with that is because Columbus, in that Metro division last year, they fought and fought and fought, and they were in that division.
Yeah, and I definitely think Columbus is a team that could be a 4th. Like my 4th and 5th, I expect them to be fighting for that playoff spot. But okay, my 4th place team is Florida, and I only put them there just because of that Barkov-Huberdeau era in Florida is so everyone like they're most underrated players in the league. They're so good. You got Bobrovsky. I think this team has to at least make the playoffs and do something at least once.
If Bobrovsky bounces back and they bring back like Mike Hoffman or someone steps up in his place, I could easily see Florida moving in and Columbus falling out. I could easily see
I have Bobrovsky with a big question mark next to it. That's the only way Florida's going to make the playoffs.
Only way. I agree.
Yeah. So 3rd?
And then Carolina.
Oh, I have Dallas at 3rd.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I think Carolina's a little bit of a younger team than Dallas. I think Dallas is a little unfamiliar with these Eastern Conference teams. I think they're going to get a little bit bruised and damaged playing all those games against Tampa. And I just see Carolina as younger. Sebastian Aho, Teravainen. There are a lot of kids who can do better in a quick sprint of a season.
And that's where I differ. Is I think Dallas will do better because they are older. They're in an easier division, so I think they're gonna get into the playoffs. And that with that extra rest, I think they're gonna be way better.
I see a lot of ice baths and saunas after the game in the future for Dallas.
Yeah,
I see a lot of like Fortnite and Shell for Carolina.
And then we both have Tampa at number 1.
Yeah, this is really Tampa's division to run. I
Yeah,
think they have a very good shot at putting up an impressive record, like 40-12.
yeah. They could be.
This will be an easy season for them to make the playoffs. And then once they're in the playoffs, Kucherov is back. Who
Hopefully,
knows? They can do some damage
hopefully.
again.
Yeah,
Because, hey, we didn't
but
see them in the playoffs with both Stamkos and Kucherov at the same time. Maybe we will.
hopefully. That's all we wanted. We just want a good, solid year, good playoffs. So we all just want to watch hockey.
Yeah. And of course, Vasilevsky's got to win that Vezina. Like, in that division, nominated last year, won it the year before. Such a good goalie.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like Bobrovsky where there's a question mark next to that name. He proved in the playoffs that he is like the most dominant goalie in this league right now.
He is a very dominant goalie for sure. Well, anyways, I think that wraps up our episode for today. We're trying to do a bit more. It seemed like on Tuesday was our first episode. You know, we kind of had spots where we knew we could do better, so we're trying to figure out what everyone wants to watch and listen to. So,
Yeah, we've broken down two divisions. We have, I think we should do the West on Tuesday.
yeah, next Tuesday is our next episode. Anyone who wants
Yeah,
to
and then
watch Analog and Analysis on YouTube, Twitch, just subscribe. And we do episodes every Tuesday and Thursday. So if you guys want to listen, and we also want to hear back if you want to send us direct message us or comment on our videos what you want to hear, what you think we could improve on, how we can make this better for everybody else. We definitely want to hear it. We're just starting out, but we want to build our way up. So
yeah, see you all next week.
sounds good. Have a good one, everybody.